It's time for the main event. Here comes the breakdown. Act 1, the setup.
Our story begins in 1987 at an airport where we see a young Nicolas Cage, a.k.a. Jack Campbell, making out with Téa Leoni or Kate Reynolds. And the two of them are clearly madly in love. By the way, we've seen Nick Cage in 1987 in Moonstruck and Raising Arizona. No. This is not the way he looked at all. She tells him she has a really bad feeling about Jack leaving for an internship in London and tries desperately to get him not to leave. She says she's afraid if he gets on the plane, it'll mean the end of their relationship. Jack assures her by saying they both have an incredible opportunity to have amazing lives since she just got into law school and he's been accepted to an internship at Barclays Bank in London to become a stockbroker. So it's kind of echoes what happens at the end of the movie. Sorry. It echoes what happens at the end of the movie where he's like, I know we could move on with our lives and we both be fine, but I've seen what we can be together. She tells him if they really want to do something great together, they should flush their plans and start their lives right then and there because she chooses us. I don't remember exactly what she says, but I choose us is what she says. I think she says it multiple times, and then he says it later on. No matter what the consequences are, she chooses us. Next, we see them living in a single-wide trailer somewhere in the Arizona desert where Jack has started robbing convenience stores after giving up on his dreams. Oh, wait, no, that's someone else. Jack mulls over the idea of bailing on his internship and instead choosing love, but he breaks her heart by saying 1 year in London won't change a thing between them and leaves her crying in the terminal. We cut to 13 years later where Jack is in bed and we hear a voice saying, "Last night was incredible." And Jack gives her the same, lip bite that he gave Elijah Wood when he found a Polaroid of his junk in the trust. It's like the exact same look. We see a sexy blonde getting dressed in his room, and Jack says he wants to see her again, but it's Christmas Eve, so she has to spend it with her parents in Jersey. Cock-blocked by Jesus' birthday again. She leaves, and Jack hops up to get dressed while singing opera, as we mentioned in the quick facts. I'm not going to attempt to say what's the name of the opera. I'm guessing they cleared the rights ahead of time to avoid having to sink a third of the film's budget into securing a song Nick Cage accidentally sang too well, like he did in Vampire's Kiss.
Maybe that's why this film was 60 mil.
that could be. It was supposed to be 40. We see how extravagant Jack's new life in New York has become since he left Kate behind, while he walks around an American Psycho-esque penthouse overlooking the city, while Nick shows off the goods in a pair of briefs while getting dressed for work, dancing around in a very cagey manner and singing his heart out.
80%. No!
This is crazy dancing. He continues singing in the elevator where he flirts with an old lady who says Jack couldn't possibly satisfy her carnal desires and goes on to describe some nasty stuff her husband did to her the night before. I mean, really raunchy stuff. I'm surprised that this movie got a PG-13 rating because it was graphic.
Yeah.
Downstairs, he gives the doorman some stock advice, and he genuinely seems to be loved by everyone. Even the people he kind of rubs the wrong way seem to really like him. This is very unlike these types of movies usually where like this sort of Scroogey character is kind of a scumbag in all facets, not just he's like a womanizer and like he just likes the bachelor life and he likes his extravagance and stuff.
Yeah.
But he seems like a good dude that people like. Though he does make his employees work on Christmas. So there's that.
Yeah.
But they are doing a $120 billion merger. So
yeah. Yeah.
At the office, we see that Jack and his team are in the process of closing a huge deal, but one of his brokers, Alan, is distracted by a snowman he made out of mashed potatoes or something. That's Alan Rubinek, I think is his name. Guy's in every movie. I swear. He's like one of those glue guys.
Just one of those guys.
Yeah. Reminds me of Steven Tobolowsky, that guy who's in like every other movie. And I'm sure that they've had some crossover. It's weird, like these character actors, if you like were to put them in some sort of like MCU type of thing where it's like all their movies actually connect somehow.
That'd be hilarious.
Jack tells Alan that he currently has tunnel vision during this holiday season because in 2 days they're going to announce one of the largest mergers in U.S. corporate history. So he needs everyone in the office to suck it up and pretend Christmas isn't a thing this year. Honestly, I don't feel like this is like a shitty thing to do. Like,
nah, it's not that unreasonable.
This is pretty huge for this company.
I think he even says, like, we do this deal and you can take 6 weeks of vacation on me or something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah. He says celebrate Christmas on the 26th when you have like 7 zeros in your bank account or something along those lines.
Yeah.
Which I'd be like, yeah, okay.
It's actually this next part. Alan apologizes and Jack yells at him that he doesn't want him to be sorry. He wants him to be excited since the gift he's giving him this year comes with 10 zeros.
10.
And they get back to work. That's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. And everybody in that room stands to gain from just kind of ignoring Christmas until the 26th.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe I'm a cold-hearted bastard, but...
I mean, we all worked retail and we had to ignore Christmas for a lot less.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. I've worked Christmas
for like
many a time.
$9 an hour. Jack's secretary or assistant tells him he's her role model in a snarky way after he says he's more Christmassy than everyone since he's giving his all to this deal. And she gives him a message that Kate, his college sweetheart, reached out to talk to him. His assistant is stunned when Jack says he almost married her since he's been single-handedly giving herpes to the entire eastern seaboard since they broke up. She tries to call her for him, but he hangs up the phone since he doesn't want to be distracted because she's probably just trying to hook up with the one that got away, and he doesn't want to mislead her. Well, thank God he didn't call her then, right? Our whole story wouldn't have happened.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Jack's boss, Peter Lassiter, enters the room and remarks about how Jack is still hard at work on Christmas Eve. And when Jack says, "I don't see you rushing home to trim the tree," Peter explains that he's a heartless bastard who only cares about money. And Jack says, "You know what? God love you for that."
I debated counting that as a curse, but I did.
God love you for that?
Yeah. He says God so many times in the movie that I just lumped it in. I threw it in there. But that was the one that I really wrote on its own line. Like, I don't know if I count that as a curse or not. But after he says it so many other times, I'm like, all right.
Yeah, technically it's not.
Toss it in there.
Because he's saying that God loves him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. I won't count it then.
Peter tells Jack one of the key members of this merger that they're trying to do is nervous. So Jack volunteers to fly to Aspen on Christmas to reassure this guy. Which he's stoked to do now, but later on says it's the most depressing thing he'll ever do in his life or whatever.
Yeah.
Jack asks Peter what he would do if an old girlfriend called him on Christmas Eve, and Peter tells him to leave it in the past since old flames are like old tax returns. Put them in the file cabinet for 3 years and then cut them loose. Seems like a great guy. Jack wads up the note with Kate's info and chucks it in the trash immediately because, I mean, obviously Peter is like his role model. He wants to be just like that guy, which I guess maybe that's the Scrooge-ish part of this is like if Peter would have continued down the path that he was currently on, he would have ended up just like Peter, who doesn't seem like a completely terrible person. He's got a family, and apparently he comes to visit people in New Jersey out of the blue.
Yeah.
He tells his assistant to call an emergency strategy session on Christmas Day and she condescendingly says, "That'll be a nice holiday treat." Again, it's like $122 billion.
Yeah. Plus, you're going in at noon. Like, you still got to do Christmas morning.
Yeah, you do Christmas morning.
And then you could be home for time, time to trim the turkey or ham or whatever you eat.
And as soon as he jumps on that plane to Aspen, you just go home.
Yeah.
What's it going to be, an hour? They probably all live in the city anyway. What's that, like three subway stops for some of these people? They're all rich, man. Of course they live nearby.
Yeah.
Jack heads out for the night by saying goodnight to the night security guy. I said night like 14 times in that. Anyway. And I swear, this time it actually literally is the same lobby from American Psycho. Remember that?
Yeah,
like when he walks into one and he shoots the guy and then he goes into the other one. It looked exactly the same. Just something I noticed. Jack walks home rather than take his car so he can enjoy the crisp New York winter air and probably have a charming encounter with someone who is mentally unstable. What do you do on a nice evening in New York? It would be amazing if they just would, one time when he's in New York in one of these movies, just off in the distance. It would be amazing. On cue, Jack runs into a crazy guy trying to cash in a lotto ticket at a corner store. The guy gets more and more angry since the apathetic guys behind the counter don't seem to want to help him, since they assume he's drawn in the lines with a pencil and seem to be, a tad bit on the racist side.
The whole scene is racist.
Yeah, it is.
I didn't make it a glimpse.
Well, I mean, that's
why didn't he give them some taste of a horrible life?
He actually says that he was going to give the clerk a glimpse of something.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was going to be, but
hey, here's what your life would be like if you weren't a fucking racist. That's probably what it would be.
Yeah. Eventually, he pulls a gun and Jack bravely intervenes and offers to buy the ticket from him for $200 so he can take the ticket to a less racist store and keep the extra $38 from the ticket. It's like a good deal. Yeah. I mean, he's lucky any place is even open,
Right.
Don Cheadle's character, Cash, I guess that's his name, agrees to the deal, and it completely diffuses the situation. Cash tells the guy behind the counter he had his chance. So I guess he was going to show this racist dude what life would have been like if he hadn't become a grocery clerk or something.
Yeah.
Small business owner.
Small business owner. We don't know if he's the owner because the other guy was there too.
Well, that's his dad.
They were both just kind of screwing off like those two cashiers in Moonstruck,
Yeah.
Or
a wolf.
Oops, shit.
Or a bad lieutenant, The two that are just standing bolt upright.
Standing straight up, right? Pointing to the owner.
Cash calls Jack by his name, first sign that there's something strange about this guy, and says they should get out of there. Outside, Jack asks how he knew his name, and Cash says he calls all you guys Jack. Who's racist now?
Yeah.
Come on.
Come on.
You all look the same to me. Businessman. Jack. They do the deal, and Jack asks him why he wants to carry a gun around for anyway, since he'll just end up doing something he regrets. Cash is surprised Jack wants to help him, and Jack says everybody needs something, to which Cash asks him, yeah, what do you need, Jack? Like, based on that craziness of the previous scene, I don't really blame Jack's whole reaction to everything that's happening here. Jack says he has everything he needs, and after he tries to help him again, Cash says, I'm really going to enjoy this. Cash then guns Jack down in the street since he's clearly mentally ill and can tell Jack has a lot of money on him. He just pulled $200 out of his pocket.
Yeah.
I thought it was weird that he started asking him for water before he shot him.
I'm going to kill myself. And then he shakes blood on him. No, wait, he says, you just remember that you did this, Jack. You brought this on yourself. Cash then says, "Merry Christmas, you asshole," and heads off into the night. That's the one Spirit of Vengeance reference I'll use again and again. It's the only one, I think. What a weird angel or demon or guy who sneakily is good at giving people LSD or something.
Right. Or whatever the hell this was.
Whatever this was.
Guy who travels the multiverse, sending people into other multiverses of themselves.
Yeah. Or maybe he's like an Agent Smith from The Matrix. He just takes over somebody's body for a minute. I'm guessing he was supposed to be like an angel because this is pseudo based off of It's a Wonderful Life. I'm guessing that's what it was. Back home, Jack heads to bed, and the next morning he wakes up to find Téa Leoni's head on his crotch. So clearly he died in the night and is now in heaven. I gotta say, Téa Leoni is absolutely gorgeous in this film. Mm-hmm. She kind of steals the show throughout.
Yeah.
I think it was no, it wasn't Brett Ratner. It was one of the producers who said that try to watch this movie and not fall in love with Téa Leoni, which I could say the same thing. Like, try not to fall in love with her over the course of this film.
Yeah. Just like he's shitting on her the whole time, and she's still so positive.
Yeah.
I know.
God damn.
Yeah.
Kate wakes up and tells him to go back to bed. Then a little girl clutching a toddler just runs into the room singing Jingle Bells. A dog jumps on the bed, and then Kate says, "Straw coffee," with morning breath right in his face. So Jack is understandably confused, waking up in the suburbs surrounded by poor people in New Jersey. So he freaks out. He jumps out of bed, gets dressed, and bolts the F out of there. And on the way out, he runs into Kate's parents, Lorraine and Big Ed, who are dropping by for the Christmas morning festivities. He asks them where his Ferrari is, and they, of course, have no idea what the hell he's talking about. He takes off to the city in the family minivan where he pulls up to his building, and, of course, again, no one recognizes him. The doorman he gave stock advice to, the old lady he tried to bang, no one. He has a nice little cagey freak out about them playing a joke on him, and eventually he says he's going to go call the cops because they're scaring him. They offer to take him to a shelter, and he says,
Hey, are you smacked out of your head? I'm the richest man in this building. I got twice the square footage you have.
"Are you smacked out of your head?" That's amazing. One of the best cagey moments.
Improv.
Yeah, feels like it.
Yeah.
Jack tells them he's going to his office and file a complaint, and then he can't start his shitty minivan. Which, quick fact, according to the DVD commentary, the scene where Jack gets back into the minivan and it won't start was a happy accident that wasn't supposed to happen. But our pal Brett Ratner thought it was the perfect beat and left it in the film.
Yeah, it's pretty
It
good.
was perfect.
Yeah.
Absolutely perfect. Just having that freak out, and then he gets in the car and it won't start. Eventually he gets it started, and at his office he's met with the same scenario. No one recognizes him, and to his horror, the guy who was busy making a snowman out of potatoes is now listed as the president of the company. Which I find that kind of hard to believe. I don't know. He's so like kind of spineless in every scene that we see him in Jack's actual reality. But I don't know. I guess if Jack wasn't there to push him down, he would have been more assertive and gotten himself
maybe.
up. Maybe.
I think it's to show like the duality of those characters. Like they both have that in them, and they also have this more gentle, family-oriented person in them as well.
Yeah, and I think life is going to be much better for Alan after New Jack shows up.
New Jack this fall on CBS.
New Jack. Hustler. It's an Ice-T song from 35 years ago. You guys remember that?
What the hell? No.
That's a deep cut.
New Jack City.
New Jack City. Outside, he walks blindly into the street and is almost run over by Cash, who is driving Jack's Ferrari. Jack jumps in the car, and after freaking out some more, Cash says, "You brought this on yourself," by saying, "I got everything I need." And Jack says,
Me because you thought I was cocky, I'm now on a permanent acid trip!
Bag yourself, Jack.
that just the delivery of that line. Just those two. This film is worth watching just for, are you smacked out of your head? And since I was being cocky, I'm on a permanent acid trip.
Yeah.
Those two line deliveries are worth the price of admission. Quick fact, at one point, Nicolas Cage actually owned the Ferrari that's in this film.
Really?
And he sold it a year before filming began. Which is kind of crazy. He ended up selling it to
the exact same car?
Yes, the exact same car. And then they ended up using it on the shoot. Crazy.
Like, this is what it would have been like if you never sold the car, Nick.
Cash says the way Jack intervened in the store was impressive, and Jack says,
Please just tell me what's happening to me in plain English without the mumbo jumbo.
a line delivery only Nick Cage could give. Cash explains that he's given Jack a glimpse of what life would have been like had he bailed on going to London and instead chose love at the airport 13 years prior. He doesn't actually say that. He just says, like, giving you a glimpse of what things could have been like or whatever. And then he has to figure everything out for himself. And he has to figure out something. He doesn't tell him what, but something over the course of however long it takes. Cash then drops the Jack off. I mean, drops off Jack. And gives him a bag with a bike bell in it, which he somewhat explains as a way to signal him or something. But not really. He's very vague. He's very vague, this character. Jack freaks out some more, and then Cash tells him that they should get some air, walk around, and he'll explain everything. But of course, as soon as Jack gets out of the car, Cash peels out, leaving Jack to drive the family minivan back to domestic bliss. On his way home. Face off. he runs into Jeremy Piven, a.k.a. Arnie, who obviously knows who he is, and he invites Jack into his man cave. Sorry, that didn't come out right. He shows Jack into his house and eventually into his man cave. Which is it's a wood paneling nightmare with bowling trophies everywhere. Like something out of the 70s. There's a lot of wood paneling in this movie.
Yeah.
Which I guess New Jersey suburbs, I guess. I don't know.
Feels very Jersey.
Yeah. Arnie says Kate called and asked if he knew where Jack was. So he was expecting him to just happen upon him in the road, I guess. I don't know. Maybe expected to walk up on him or something.
Well, they're friends.
They're like best friends.
He assumed he disappeared on Christmas Day. Maybe he went over to talk to say hi to him or something.
Little midlife crisis, I guess.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Jack says it's a great room. Great room. Before Arnie tries to pull him over to his makeshift bar, causing Jack to very casually almost punch him in the face.
Come on. Come on, Jack. Come on. Come on, buddy.
I love this whole first day of him like accepting this new reality. Cage is so good in this.
Yeah.
Jack spots a picture of he and Arnie bowling on the wall and realizes they're friends, and also figures out that Kate is his wife in this whatever this is. This glimpse. Arnie walks him home, telling Jack he's having a little midlife crisis, and leads him to a 4-bedroom house within a few hours' drive to the cultural center of the universe, which is absolutely garbage to Jack, but a dream no millennial can fathom achieving.
Yeah.
What, 3 stories? God.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 stories in an unfinished or a half-finished basement.
It's like The Simpsons, when like he's poor, just a
But has
loser.
a giant 2-story
This
house,
huge house with a
two-car garage.
2-car garage. Ugh. And
On a single parent income.
Yeah, single income. Arnie tells Jack he's thankful for stopping him from cheating on his wife with a speech therapist the previous summer by saying, don't screw up the best thing in your life just because you're a little unsure of who you are. See, he's not sure who he is at the moment. See?
Who am I?
Meanwhile, through all of this, Jack gives Arnie a look like, who the fuck are you and what the fuck is going on? Like an old lady who just spotted a vampire in the bathroom or something. What the fuck is going on? Inside, Jack greets his wife, who is on the phone crying and worried sick about him. She's upset since he just completely bailed on Christmas and has been gone for hours without letting her know where he went, where he was, what he was doing. Nothing. But then she just kind of like sloughs it off after that.
Gets over it.
Yeah, it's just
weird.
like, oh, well, that was a weird thing. Whatever. Yeah, I don't know. Just does her version of Jack do this kind of shit all the time?
I don't know. I wonder that a lot too.
He rationally tries to explain what's actually going on, but she dismisses this absolutely insane thing he's telling her by saying, "Don't start, Jack," as if this all happened before. Like, don't start with the "I'm not actually your husband" shtick today, okay? Jack then pulls out the bike bell that Cash gave him and rings it, which prompts his daughter to ride into the room on a bike. She takes the bell from him since she assumes it was for her bike that he got her for Christmas. But he says, "That's mine. Hey, I need that back. She took my bell."
It's three-legged dog staring me over there.
There's a three-legged dog staring at me over there. Kate is pissed that he missed presents and pancakes in the morning, but they don't have time to discuss why he ran out of the house and then tried to convince her he's not actually her husband like a schizophrenic because they have a party to get to.
Domestic bliss.
Yeah. Just wonder how many times just mental illness is completely ignored in the suburbs because we got shit to do.
Yeah. Don't want to embarrass me in front of the neighbors.
I don't know who you are.
Don't
She
start.
took my bell. He says he's not going to the party, but then she convinces him since the alternative is to stay and watch the kids. I would do the same thing.
Yeah.
Upstairs, he gets ready and is absolutely disgusted by his wardrobe choices. And his daughter walks into the room and seems to know that her dad has been replaced by a stranger. She runs downstairs while he sneers at her. And next thing you know, they're at the party. She's kind of like his guide, his mentor.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Kate and Jack head inside as if he didn't just abandon his family all day and come home raving like a lunatic. And immediately a smoking hot housewife flirts with him and Jack is oblivious. He heads straight for the alcohol and Red Millers his way through a couple glasses of whiskey. Then he endears himself with what we can assume are Jack's closest friends in this reality by saying the Nets suck. But they're due. Obviously, he's a Knicks fan because he's from New York. Would never follow the New Jersey Nets, who don't even play in New Jersey anymore. I bet that guy, his friend, is really pissed now.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he's probably dead, but...
Doesn't say triple bypass guy. He's dead.
He looked healthy.
No, it was the guy in the Nets jacket.
Yeah,
smoker.
A guy wolfing down chicken wings reminds Jack he's having a triple bypass the next day, and a guy in a Nets jacket offers Jack a cigar, which he turns down until he finds out they're American made, not Cuban.
So they're crappier? And then he wants one?
It's one of my Coppola questions, actually. He remarks this cigar is superb. Then the sexy housewife stuffs appetizers in Jack's mouth as he tries not to hurl.
There's your weird food thing.
Yep. Every movie. Jack overhears Kate talking about her job and giggles from a distance before awkwardly interrupting her conversation by saying, "So you're a lawyer, a nonprofit lawyer. You don't get paid anything," from the other side of the house. Then he stares her down and then stares down all of her friends and walks away after finding out she doesn't make any money doing what she's done for her whole career up to this point. Yeah. I'm assuming. No red flags. Totally normal.
The holidays.
Act 2, The Conflict.
Act numero dos.
That first word is te
Manoring. Jack. The next morning, Jack wakes up to find himself still stuck in this house of domestic horrors, accompanied by the worst imaginable sound for a man with no children: the sound of a screaming baby. Sorry, Nigel.
Nah, it sucks even if you have children. It's even worse because you have to do something about it. You don't get it to sleep in.
Oh no! I just want you to keep going. Yeah. Your life is terrible, is what I'm saying.
That's just like I relate to
Why
this
couldn't I have been a banker or a stockbroker? Could have moved to New York.
All right, he angrily makes his way to the bathroom to take a shower, but spots a woman who is way too curvy and tall to be Téa Leon, naked, doing the stripper dance from True Romance and singing in the shower. Jack suddenly thinks, "Hey, maybe this ain't so bad after all."
Did you just call her Téa Leon?
Yeah.
Did I say Téa? Tia?
No, you said Téa Leon.
Téa Leon.
Leone.
Her name is Téa Leone.
Let's see. He angrily makes his way back to the bathroom.
You don't have to say it again. It's just like,
It was only funny.
That's her name is not Téa Leon.
Téa. Leone. Whatever.
She's too tall and curvy to be T. Leone.
That's who it was. It wasn't Téa Leone. It was
That's true.
Téa Leon.
It was her body double.
Téa Leon.
Téa Leon.
Téa Leon.
He tells her that baby's crying, and she says it's his turn to. Well, he tells her that baby's crying, and she says it's his turn. Well, talking. Oh my god.
Second paragraph.
He tells her that baby's crying, as she says it's his turn, while talking to him butt naked from the shower while he tries to hide his half chub. He heads to change the baby's chocolate-filled diaper while his daughter, Annie, guides him through the process before getting actually pissed on by the baby. Like, quick fact, that baby really did piss on Nicolas Cage, and it wasn't planned. He just rolled with it because he's a fucking professional, and he does it live. Look it up in the dictionary, people.
It was funny. Brett Ratner was upset because some people thought that they put it in there because the pee comes from under the frame. But it was actually, that was all one take, and it was the baby actually pissing on Nick Cage.
It makes sense because it did seem like he was genuinely like, "Oh, okay, well, this is happening."
All right. I love his that baby's crying. Just that delivery, like that's his son.
Right.
Just imagine Nigel saying that to Amber, that baby's crying.
And again, she doesn't think anything weird about it. She's just like, yeah, whatever. It's your turn.
It's your turn. Go murder the baby. I don't care.
And he says, "You're not really my dad, are you?" And Jack says, "No, I'm not. I'm rich, and your life is hot garbage. I can't wait to get the hell away from you." That's not going to fuck her up for life. Holding back tears.
He didn't really say that.
No, I know.
just
No,
for
he
the
says
people,
much worse.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
I know there are
in case you
lots
haven't
of
seen
people who actually watch this show and don't watch the movies.
Touche. Yeah, he doesn't
I'm
actually say
just
that.
going to assume, like, he did? Oh, my God.
Hold it back there. She asks where her real dad is, and Jack says her actual dad loves her and he'll be back soon. So Annie sheepishly pulls up a chair over to him and touches his face for a second before saying the doctors at that super secret FBI medical clinic did a good job taking her dad's face off and putting it on his face. Then he asks her if he's better looking than her actual dad, and she almost cries.
Slightly better looking. Right?
She asks if he likes kids, and he says, on a case-to-case basis. Then asks if he knows how to make chocolate milk, and he says, I think I could figure it out. And then she makes him promise not to kidnap her and her brother or implant stuff in their brains. And when he agrees, she smiles and says, welcome to Earth.
Welcome to Oof.
Kid actors.
Case by case basis is exactly how I feel about children as well.
Yeah, same.
On the whole, not really, but I'll make exceptions every once in a while.
Nigel's kid is on the approved list of kids I can put up with.
He's adorable.
It's the glasses, man.
It's the glasses.
Does it?
Jack drops off Josh, the peeing baby, at daycare while holding the baby like a sack of raw potatoes and asks the daycare lady for a receipt, which is normal. Next, he drops off Annie and asks what to do next, since she's now an NPC guiding him through the training portion of his new life. She tells him there are settlements that need your help. Not sorry. What she actually says is he works at Big Ed's tire store, and he is disgusted at the thought of trading in a life of luxury for being a tire salesman. In the next scene, we see him stop by a local gun store to buy a double-barrel shotgun that he plans on putting in his mouth, but unfortunately has to wait a few days for the background check to clear. If only he had Yuri Olov's phone number, he could have ended it all and saved himself from being pissed on again by that awful baby. Is it fucked up that I just called that baby awful? Nigel, I'm going to defer to you on this one since you're the expert here.
I mean, it's a pretty ugly baby.
I didn't say ugly. I said awful.
Oh, shit. I forget what I said then.
Love his little. So, I'm a tire salesman. I sell tires.
He did such a great job at selling that just
starts
disgust.
to cry.
Big Ed just so happens to be Kate's father and the chief of FBI. Wait, no, the last part's only a face-off. Wait, maybe that little girl was right. Maybe they really did take her dad's face off and put it on this guy.
Maybe this is like...
They do mention he had a heart attack.
Yeah, they do. That's right. That's why he had to come back.
He had a heart attack. Yeah, he had a heart attack and had to retire from the FBI.
Yeah, opened up a little tire shop in Jersey.
Oh, fuck.
You know, I like that Castor Troy guy. Can we wipe his memory? Give him some sort of implanted memory?
Oh my God. This is going to be Face Off 2. It's going to be a secret sequel to
He's been a
Family
fucking
Man.
tire salesman for 30 years.
Hooks him up with his daughter.
Jack asks the sales guy if he has his own office somewhere, and the guy giggles at him before realizing he's serious. And he then shows him where it is. Jack's office must have been decorated by the same guy who decorated Arnie's man cave, because it's wall-to-wall wood paneling adorned by dozens of bowling trophies. He finds a checkbook and is horrified by how little money he has, and then a bottle of whiskey, and out loud says,
You must have needed this every day.
and pours himself a little breakfast. Anyways, I think
It's already in his passing out chair.
Yeah. Through some wedding photos, a plaque, and some out loud thinking, he realizes he never went to London. What? He didn't go? Oh my gosh. It took until this exact moment for me to understand that. Fuck.
Glad he says it to the camera.
That would have been so great.
I thought he does say it. He says, I never went or something, doesn't he?
Yeah, he did.
He does.
Yeah.
He says it aloud, yeah. But he doesn't fourth wall it.
Oh, it's later on when he finds a ticket.
He sees that he
came
came back. From
Yeah,
London.
he came back. Yeah. Then he says,
Are you sure you're okay?
Well, I'm just a little confused right now about why I work here.
to a new sales guy out on the show floor, which is like a super good way to retain employees there, Jack. Yeah. Back home, he sees that the merger he was working on happened without him on TV. And Alan, the guy making snowmen out of mashed potatoes or whatever, was the architect behind the deal. Kate runs out of the bathroom and says the kids are asleep, so I guess it's time to make another one. And gets to work pulling Jack's dirty socks and crusty pajama bottoms off for sexy time. He suggests that they get a bottle of wine, but she wants to get busy right away before he passes out. So he says,
Whatever you say, honey.
They make out for a bit, but Jack stops and remarks how beautiful she is and that she's grown into a beautiful woman. She asks him, how can you look at me like you haven't seen me every day for 13 years? She excitedly runs to the bathroom to slip into something a little more comfortable, and Jack's conscience gets the best of him, so he fakes being asleep when she comes back into the room, much to her disappointment. Watching this scene hit a little too close to home, but my guilt is due to the fact that I have sorry, I'm getting a little personal here, guys. My bad. Next, we hear Kate in the other room, accompanied by a whirring sound of some kind, which also hits a little too close to home. Like this movie is like really triggered for me. It's almost like somebody took my deepest fears and put them into a movie script.
That's what every Christmas sounds like.
Impotence. Thanks to a sign that reads mid-January sales event, we know a few weeks have passed, and we see the family at Bloomingdale's where Kate says they're almost done, but first they need to stop by the toy store, watch store, and linen store, to which Jack asks,
Why don't we go to all of the stores? Every single store in this godforsaken shopping mall. Wouldn't that be exciting?
which I felt was justified.
I feel like I've literally said this exact same thing to my wife. Why don't we go to all the stores? Every store in this godforsaken shopping mall.
Don't you miss malls, guys?
Miss Malls? No, not even a little bit.
Yeah, not really.
Kate suggests he take his snarky ass to the men's department while she takes care of the kids, and Jack finds his way to the suits. He picks out a super expensive suit that a tire salesman would never have use for, and when the family finds him, Kate remarks how good he looks in it. When he says he's going to buy the $2,400 suit, Kate asks him if he's out of his mind, and he points to Annie's new shoes, which Kate paid $25 for. She suggests that they go get shoes. I love, she got new shoes. Yeah, they were $25.
Or I should buy a $2,400 suit.
I like it.
She got shoes. How come I don't get anything?
Like how the sales associate just like, he's like, whew, and pieces the fuck out.
As soon as it got awkward, he's just out.
So good. She suggests that they go get a funnel cake and calls him crazy, which prompts potentially the cagiest moment of the film. Jack complains about the mundane awfulness of his daily routine, such as picking up dog turds, playing with the kids, and selling tires. And Kate says, it's sad to hear that your life is such a disappointment. And he says, I can't believe it isn't a disappointment to you. You, do you think anything we're doing made a difference? Not even gonna say that last part, but he did say a disappointment to you. It goes on to ask how she could do this to him, let him give up on his dreams, and then says,
I'm sorry I was such a saint before, and I'm such a prick now. But maybe I'm just not the same guy that I was when we got married.
He says, forget it. I'll get a funnel cake, and it'll be the highlight of my week.
And not to mention another Brett Ratner style person out there, but it reminded me of at the beginning of American Beauty when he's like masturbating in the shower.
In the shower.
This will be the highlight of my day.
My week. Oh yeah, my day. Oh shit. R.I.P. Kevin Spacey. In the car ride home, he apologizes for being such a prick this time, not sarcastically, and he asks her how they ended up in the position they're in. Kate explains that they've been throwing some curveballs that changed their plans, such as their first baby Annie, and Big Ed having a big coronary, which caused Jack to step in and take over operations at the tire store rather than become a stockbroker. He laments that his life turned to shit from those curveballs, and Kate says she doesn't see it that way, but rather sees it as a great success story. Going back to what we said earlier, she's like so positive, even though he shits on her and their life so much.
Whole family. I feel like that outburst in the store would be like, all right, I'm going to go stay with my parents with the kids for a fucking month, and you need to go to a psychiatrist.
I see it as a great success story 5 minutes after that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be the highlight of my week. You're the best thing that ever happened to me.
Next we see Jack attempted the bull, and he's awful at it. Arnie says, Jesus, Jack, what are you doing? This is a league match. And Jack says, shut up, Arnie. You're out of your element. Now mark it 0. When Arnie refuses to do so, Jack pulls a pistol from his bowling bag and says, am I the only one that gives a shit about the rules? Mark it 0, Arnie. All right, that last part didn't happen, but it would have been fucking awesome if it did.
It would have been great if you just hear that off of one of the other lanes.
Over the line!
Like echoing off at the
Here's a quick fact for y'all.
I'll put this back on just for this quick fact.
Yeah, put it on for the quick fact. If you're wondering why this bowling alley feels so familiar, it's because the bowling alley scenes were filmed at Hollywood Star Lanes, known by many after being featured in The Big Lebowski. This was likely one of the last movies to film there, as the bowling alley closed in August 2002 after the city took over the property by eminent domain for a new school, which is kind of sad, man. Yeah. I'm sure there were a lot of films that shot bowling alley scenes in that.
I'm sure it had tons of business after Big Lebowski.
Yeah, and then I'm sure it picked up after Big Lebowski.
What year was Lebowski? Like 97?
I want to say 97, but I feel like it was later than that. Like,
was it?
2000?
It was 99.
Was it 99?
Was it?
I thought something like that.
So like right before this movie.
They might have been shooting around the same time, right?
Yeah.
Because
it felt so familiar, and I was like, why does this feel so familiar?
I thought that, but then I thought it was just, bowling alleys. Bowling alleys look the same.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was the exact same.
The same one.
Jack the Hammer Campbell tells himself, you're better than this sport. You shot the rapids in Kenai. You ran with the bulls in, is it Pamplona?
Pamplona? Yes, Pamplona.
Pamplona?
Pamplona.
You ran with the bulls in Pamplona. You jumped out of an airplane over the Mojave Desert, for Christ's sake. Then gets super excited when he knocks over 5 pins and screams,
Yes! Victorious!
As you do. Quick fact. As Jack was bowling, he stated he jumped out of an airplane over the Mojave Desert. Nicolas Cage's character did that in the movie Honeymoon in Vegas. So,
it's definitely a nod to him.
Yeah. I feel like either he improv that or they put that in there just to, like you said.
I think they put it in there just because they were fans. I feel like a lot of Nick Cage lines come from people who just put it in because they were fans of Nick Cage.
Yeah. He cagily laughs at his bowling pals who are less than enthused by his horrible role. Also, the guy who had triple bypass looks pretty good considering it's been like 2 weeks since his surgery. There's some other guy in a sling. Like, what the fuck?
Did that guy's just like perfectly fine.
Oh, yeah.
Did the surgery get canceled?
No, he's just healthy as a horse.
You don't go bowling after a triple bypass.
I mean, bowling is the most physical activity of any sport out there.
Maybe he's just sitting it out. He's watching with the sling guy.
The sling guy.
Could be their team. So he's got to be there. He's
just moral support.
Not playing.
Later, Jack runs into the super hot housewife from the Christmas party who flirts with him again. And he asks if there's something going on between them. And Evelyn says she wants him to show her the hammer. And Jack is stoked. He tells Arnie he's thinking about dropping in to give her the goods, and Arnie tells him there isn't a guy in Jersey who wouldn't give his left nut to be with Jack's wife, so he shouldn't ruin his life by cheating on her, and Arnie storms off disgusted. Probably go jerk it to the thought of banging Kate while Jack watches from the corner of the room dressed in a crocodile outfit. At home, Kate is busy working while eating a slice of cake, and Jack says that he was saving it since he got nauseous from eating mini mall rotisserie chicken. She
I
eats it in his
love like little mundane suburban things.
Yeah. Plus, like mini mall. Like, what? Who the fuck buys your chickens at a mini mall?
It's on the way home from work or something.
Oh, they probably bought it from that awful fucking place, Boston's Market. God, that place is gross. I hope they went bankrupt.
Did they go bankrupt?
I hope so. That fucking place tastes like ass. Sorry, I really hate that place.
We'd get a sponsorship from
I turned that shit down.
Boston Market, man.
Good Boston Market piece of shit. Anyway.
No, man, it's terrible.
It's Vince's crusade.
Well,
dying on that fucking hill.
Mill Creek, so thank God. Okay,
I was thrown out of a Boston Market. Is what I'm saying.
The truth comes out.
Cut to cell phone footage of him drunkenly getting kicked out of the Boston Market.
I got drunk.
Everything sucks here.
They don't even serve booze. Yeah.
You call this fucking chicken?
You got nothing on the Colonel, bitches.
Rotisserie. More like rotisserie shit.
It's drier than your mom was last night.
I wipe my ass with better chicken. Okay, anyways.
Got a whole rat in my Cobb salad.
She eats it in his face and he demands she give it to him. Giggity. And when she refuses, he chases her around the house until accidentally killing her, which really changes the tone of the film from here on out. Cash shows up and is horrified at what Jack has done, and instead of taking him back to his old life, he leaves him to his fate in this one. The cops bust in and Jack pleads with them that this isn't really his life, and it isn't until the final scene of the film, when the noose goes around his neck, that Jack comes out of this schizophrenic-induced nightmare and asks where his beautiful wife and kids have gone. We hear a switch, and Jack falls out of frame to a cracking noise, and the credits roll over an empty frame with only a swaying rope over it. The end.
Turned into a Paul Schrader movie.
No, because it actually had an ending.
Yeah. Would have just gone black.
Doggy Dog had an ending.
Yeah. Oh no, what the fuck? God damn Google Documents. They're next on my list of companies not to fucking work with.
Yeah, I'll second that. Having actually worked with Google.
Yeah. No, wait. He
Don't
chases
sue
her. Huh?
I said, don't sue me.
Allegedly.
We're recording on a Google interface right now. They're listening to everything we say.
They are.
Don't fucking say anything.
My bad. I mean, I love
they own Boston Market.
Oh, fuck. 10 days from now, you guys just find me dead with Boston Market chicken shoved down my fucking throat. And a Pixel 6 sticking out my ass.
It's a drumstick in a place I don't even want to mention.
All right, what actually happens is he chases her around playfully, surprises her by saying, ta-da! And they sexily wrestle over the cake on the stairs before making out with it all over their faces, which might have been a tad bit more sexy if the cake hadn't been chocolate. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of sick, man.
Yeah, especially after that diaper scene.
Yeah, reminded me of the diaper scene.
Yeah, that's
probably the same frosting.
Yep, that's exactly where my mind went when I saw that. Jack asks if the kids are asleep, and while they're making out, Kate tells him to say it to me. So he says, "You're a bad girl, baby. You make me so hot. We're gonna go home real soon, mommy." Which I guess weren't the magic words, because she probably in sexy time.
I set you up perfectly to do that. We're going to go home soon, mommy.
Mommy, we'll go home soon, mommy. We'll go home soon.
Mama.
All he actually says was, "You're a bad girl, baby."
Yeah, he says, "You're a bad girl, baby."
We're going to go home soon, real soon, mommy.
Oh, no, he does say, "You make me so hot." He says both those lines. Yeah.
He does, yeah.
We're going to go home real soon, mama. Mama. He pours himself a glass of whiskey and retires to the passing out chair, as is tradition in Nicolas Cage films, where he watches a tape labeled Jack Singing. This turns out to be a birthday party where Jack cringily sings "La la 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 la" means I love you in front of the whole party, which, God, that was brutal.
I mean, It was endearing, I guess, because it's like he's obviously out of his element, and he's doing this thing that probably makes him very uncomfortable just to make his wife happy.
Yeah.
And I think that's a moment where he realizes how much well, I think I step all over your thing.
Maybe it also makes it imply like when he was rich, he paid for opera lessons because he could sing opera just fine. But he's got a lot of money. But when he's in suburbia, he can't sing worth a damn.
La 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 la. I love you.
That scene just went on too long. In my opinion.
Yeah.
We didn't need the second verse. I don't feel like.
In a tear-jerking moment, this makes our version of Jack realize how much tire salesman Jack loves Kate, and probably makes him realize the life he's been seeing as awful is actually pretty amazing. The next morning, we see Jack get on with the drudgery of the new routine of getting a bottle ready for Josh, making coffee, etc., while Kate excitedly gets out of bed and surprises him with an anniversary present. She tells him before he does whatever crazy stunt he has planned, she wants him to open her gift first, and it turns out to be a green version of the suit he wanted at Bloomingdale's. He tears up at the gift, and with her hands open and eyes closed, Kate slowly realizes that he has completely forgotten about their anniversary altogether. Probably since he wasn't actually there when they got married, which is still no excuse. Just ask any woman ever alive.
Why didn't that baby tell him about it?
Over chocolate milk with Annie, she tells him she should have warned them that her dad always does something really special for their anniversary. Jack tries to figure out what Kate would like since she can't afford the finer things, and her husband's career is a crushing disappointment to her. And he comes up with the idea of taking her to the city to a fancy restaurant. I like how he's just talking shit about her dad.
Husband's career is a crushing disappointment to her. It's the only reason they have a roof over their heads is because of him.
Because of him, yeah. But he's got to make some decent money,
Apparently, I mean, he's like a co-owner on this.
Yeah, like they
place.
brought him in as a co-owner. The company makes $1.7 million the previous year.
Yeah.
So they're turning a good profit. I would imagine that they take home a good amount, a healthy amount.
I'm guessing he probably makes 60, 75,000, something like that.
And I bet Kate only works for free because they don't need the money.
Yeah, probably.
I thought she said that she did get paid, but the paychecks weren't very big. So I don't think she doesn't make money off the cases, but I'm guessing she gets paid by the organization that she works for.
Yeah, it's like a nonprofit lawyer.
Yeah.
I think they get paid in donations and stuff.
Food stamps.
No,
I wouldn't. If I had kids, fucking pay me in food stamps all day, bro.
Oh yeah, especially in this economy.
Yeah,
this inflation
of food
pricing.
Jesus Christ!
And you don't even have to use stamps anymore. They give you a real credit card.
They give you a card.
Yeah,
like this. Oh,
don't show that! Don't show that!
Yeah,
hold on.
Screen cap that and rip it off.
This thing.
Jesus.
It's my transit card for.
He orders some pompous French cuisine and stupidly expensive bottle of wine before Kate says it's $800. So Jack orders the house red wine instead. Despite being disgusted by the change, Bobo keeps his mouth shut and heads off to place their order. Some might say drinking house red over the $800 bottle of wine is a slight step down.
Yeah. Lebec, I think is what it was.
Yeah, I think that's what it was, right? He asks her to dance, and everyone smiles at them in the restaurant like they're all trapped in a Christmas family rom-com or something. The moment is ruined when a young woman tosses her drink in Fraser's dad's face before storming off. Over dinner, he tells her he feels like he's living someone else's life and that he was so sure about everything he had in his life as a stockbroker, but now he's not sure what he wants. Kate says, "Do you think there aren't some mornings when I wake up and ask, what the hell am I doing in New Jersey?" As most people in New Jersey are prone to do. But she says she wouldn't trade what she has for anything, since everything she's sure about and loves would be gone if she hadn't married him. Again, just like so positive. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So optimistic.
Yeah.
He says that the only thing he's sure about is that there's nowhere else in the world he'd rather be than with her, and he takes her to a hotel in the city. They pop some champagne, and he again says she's beautiful, and then realizes that after all these years, he's never stopped being in love with her, and off-screen reintroduces her to his little tire salesman.
Little Michelin man.
Little Michelin man. That hotel room must have been a fortune.
Oh, yeah.
New York City, a hotel like that? I mean...
The Beverly.
That's got to be as much as that suit.
Yeah.
That you wouldn't let him buy.
$2,400. Yeah.
Act 3. It's about time to wrap this thing up.
We see Jack at home suddenly embracing his life as a family man. Hey, that's the name of the movie. He excitedly gets ready for work before passionately making out with Kate and heading to the office. I mean, the showroom. Turns out he's pretty good at this tire selling stuff, but suddenly his old boss, Peter, coincidentally pops a tire directly in front of the store, giving Jack a chance to work his old magic. I'm guessing Cash wanted to throw him a curveball or something.
That was how I interpreted it.
Weird, yeah.
What the hell is Peter Lasseter doing in New Jersey?
In Jersey at some shitty tire stop brothel.
Well, his tire popped
I guess
right out in front.
Right.
So
yeah, it wasn't even towed there. He just rolled up with a flat tire.
Yeah. So I'm guessing it was like our old pal tried to test him to see if he would still, bail on this life that he has. Yeah. Now that he actually is embracing it, is like, oh, well, would you take the stockbroker life back if you could?
Jack takes Peter to his private wood-paneled office where he explains that the merger PK Lasseter just did would have went smoother if Alan hadn't been the one in charge, and Lasseter is confused, but I guess impressed by a lowly tire salesman from New Jersey giving him advice on a multi-billion-dollar deal. He asks about his car, and Jack says it'll take a few days. And he's like oddly okay with okay, it'll take a couple of days.
Special order for that.
Yeah,
tire.
I suppose it's special tire.
Plus, he's got 7 more.
Yeah, that's true. He could just hire a car, drive it back to his house, and get his own other cars. Anyway, so Peter tells him to deliver it to him personally when it's done. In the city, Jack pulls up in Peter's car while wearing the suit Kate got him for their anniversary. Peter takes him to Alan's office, Jack's old office, which is now filled with baby toys and a dog, which kind of horrifies Jack. Just weird now that he's a family man, but I don't know why he was so horrified by it. Maybe
I feel like it was mostly the dog.
Yeah. The dog's got 3 legs.
Alan asks whether Jack has any Wall Street experience and kind of makes fun of him for being a tire salesman. Jack then does a song and dance while getting himself a glass of water, which rubs Alan, the president of the company, all sorts of wrong, but Peter loves it. Jack says he knows his sales as a tire jockey are nothing compared to what their company does, but business is business and people are people and he knows people. He then reads Alan by saying he has a sort of active energy about him and he wouldn't be surprised if he drank about 16 Diet Cokes a day. Then he says he's probably an excellent father, but he feels guilty about being away from the kids. He drinks bourbon but offers his clients scotch and his wife decorated his office. Just some guesses, shots in the dark, Then Jack says Peter loves expensive things, smokes fancy cigars, likes scotch, and likes to stay with what works. He loves horses and this company, and also getting tugs to the local massage parlor. He's a man who prides himself in finding talent in unusual places.
It's once again playing on cheat mode.
Yeah.
How does he know this stuff? Wow. He can read people like a book.
Jack says he'll do whatever it takes to get the job at the company, including giving tugs of his own, but he just wants a shot. Then Peter tells Alan to show Jack around the office. Alan privately tells Jack to cut the shit and asks him where he got his information. He says Jack's shenanigans won't work on him and that Peter gets tired of his pet projects pretty quickly and no tire salesman from New Jersey is going to take his job. As if that was a threat.
You're going to take my job.
Why would he even I know it's for our benefit because, Jack has done this job, so obviously he knows how to do that job. But at the same time, it's there's no chance that this guy has any shot at taking that job from Alan.
Maybe I think it's to show that Alan's insecure.
Yes.
Like, so deep down, that's kind of always been his problem.
Yeah.
So sort of like, don't come in. I got a good thing going on. Like, he sees this guy as a threat to his job, I guess.
Yeah. He can be a bulldog, but that's not who he is by nature.
Yeah.
He just fucking closed a like triple billion dollar. I don't think he's got anything to worry about.
Maybe this is how he got to that position in this reality, is he scared everybody else away and acted all tough to keep people from
he stops everybody in the hallway and bitches at him. Don't take my fucking job.
Take my fucking job.
The secretary, his assistant.
My wife decorated this office. And I'm keeping it.
Alan, you're sweating.
Jack laughs in his face and is super impressed with how assertive Alan is in this reality and gives him a nice little hug and says, "Good for you." This, again, doesn't exactly endear him with the president of this company he's just met, but Jack chuckles and leaves. Jack brings Kate into the city and shows her a swanky penthouse that I guess is a perk of this new job, which makes her suspicious since he's been a tire salesman in New Jersey for the last 10 plus years. I mean, who in their right mind would just give a guy who waltzed in off the street a job thousands of people would kill for after spending 5 minutes of getting to know him? Yeah, almost as if it was a fate.
Yeah. I feel like it was just, it was just Cash testing him.
She is understandably upset that he just decided to uproot their life without even asking her what she wants. Kate explains the reason they left the city in the first place is because they didn't want to raise kids there. And Jack says New York is the center of the universe, so obviously that's where they should live. He says this was supposed to be a happy day, but he doesn't like her funky tension, so he says they don't need to live there. He can just commute from New Jersey. Again, just a complete 180 from how he actually normally acts, so she doesn't get suspicious. I mean, I guess she does, but
I mean,
he sort of rolls with it.
He's still like,
ambitious.
He's including her in all of these
Yeah.
ideas now, not just kind of like moving on from her. He's he really wants to stay with her and make it work, but he also wants to be able to do the thing he loves doing.
Yeah. It just seems weird, like if they had a 180, like they don't want to raise the kids in New York, presumably he was also agreeing with that.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden he's completely thinking the opposite, so it just seems like she would be like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, true.
But maybe that's part of the glimpse, is everything just sort of works itself out. Just to keep his glimpse going.
Maybe that's why she's overwhelmingly positive all the time.
I think that might be like she's that opposite of how he is, to show what he actually likes about that life and what he wants in her.
The little tire salesman.
He wants to put the little Michelin man in there.
He says they can have a perfect, great life that other people envy, but she poignantly says that people already envy them. I mean, I sure as hell do. I want their giant house in the suburbs.
Giant house, great friends, great support system.
Good job.
Great kids.
Solid family.
Housewives.
Great housewives trying to bang you all the time. Feeding you food. You just walk into the house and they give you food.
They give you food?
Yeah. Back at home, he looks at the pictures of the life he would have had if he had never left for London, while holding the P.K. Lassiter business card Peter gave him earlier. He thumbs through a Kurt Vonnegut book where he finds a return ticket to London from 1987 and realizes that he went, but he came back for Kate. She walks in the room and says when he got on the plane to London, she was sure it was over, but he showed back up the next day. She says she thinks about the decision he made to choose them over his career and thought they'd grow old in this house in New Jersey, but if what he needs now is to have a fancy career in the city, then she's willing to accept it because she chooses them over everything else and because she loves him. The next morning, Kate wakes up to see Jack playing with Annie in the yard, and we see Annie say, "I knew you'd come back since the dad she grew up with has returned," and Jack gives her a big hug and tells her he loves her. Later that night, in the garage, he hears the bike bell Cash gave him and sees Annie in the driveway. He heads to the store to buy rock salt to de-ice the driveway, and who do you think is behind the till? It's Cash, who tells him he really seems to have figured some stuff out about himself, so that means his glimpse is about to end.
Does that mean that he didn't take the job?
Yeah.
I'm assuming, right?
Yeah, I think that was the choice he wanted him to make was, now you can have that life back or a version of it in this reality. Do you take it or do you, you know, you're not? Take it knowing it might cost you this life that you've got right here. Jack tells him he's not going back. He has kids and pays for the rock salt while Cash looks on happily. Oh, and some bitch stole $9 from him at the store. Guess he's going to chase her down a little later and throw her into some hell reality. That
shoots her in the head.
He's going to traffic. No, dude, he's going to traffic her.
Oh, God. So what happens if you keep stealing? You're going to end up in this life.
This is the life you're going to live.
Wakes up in a shipping container getting sent to Nicaragua.
Phase to Black is the opening scene of Taken.
God.
Listen to me. You're going to be taken.
It's Cash on the phone.
Call it what you see.
All I did was take $9. You did this yourself.
Be taken.
You had a chance. Could have given it back.
Could have given it back, buddy.
Now you're about to get by several random men.
Movie by Brett Ratner.
Being auctioned.
Also directed by Brett Ratner. The movie he really wanted to make.
It was so sentimental.
He read the script and chased down the producers to force them to make him let him make the movie.
The twist of that is that it was never produced for a studio. It was all just shot in his basement.
Back home, Jack says goodbye to his children before telling Kate, I need you to remember me, Kate, how I am right now at this very moment. I need you to put that image in your heart and keep it there. Keep it with you no matter what happens. Like something you'd say before being exposed as a money launderer or a serial killer or something. Or like you just found out you've got terminal cancer or something.
Yeah.
Which she freaks out about.
Like, okay.
Well, she's like, what happened? Like, what, did you get some news or whatever? Like, she's understandably freaks out. And he says, no, everything's fine.
My idiot brother just got the fucking, got Interpol.
Got us in this deal and grew a conscience.
She says so many different movies down that I'm like, which reference was that? Was that Lord of War or was that Trapped in Paradise?
Lord of War.
Idiot Brothers.
Yeah.
Key.
I'll be back in 2 days. My brother says there's this cool bank that sticks.
It would be so funny if it was fucking Dana Carvey. It's got scallions. He sneaks into the little like village with all the people getting hacked up with machetes. Starts eating their food. What, this mask? This mask?
Just pocketing
this
fucking
grenade?
guns and grenades. Oh, fuck.
It's so weird that his brother's been played by
Jared
Leto and John Lovitz and Dana Carvey and
yeah.
She says that she promises to remember him. I'm guessing with all the bizarre stuff he's done in 6 weeks or so since Christmas, this isn't ringing off any alarm bells for her at this point. Just like, sure, whatever. Let's go to bed.
Just don't run off on Christmas again. Did we actually see Valentine's Day? Because I know that there was Valentine's Day at the tire shop, but did he have a Valentine's Day with Kate? I don't think so.
No.
I don't remember,
No.
Or was that the day when she was making out with him when he was on his way to the office?
Maybe. I don't know.
Anyways.
Anyway, he takes the dog for one last walk. And just as when the glimpse first started, he gets snowed on, and he looks up into the sky and soaks it in. He falls asleep in a passing out chair, watching Kate sleeping, and when he wakes back up, he's back to the bachelor life in the city, and once again, it's Christmas Day. It's actually very moving.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's fighting to stay awake.
It's pretty heart-wrenching.
Yeah, I feel like this movie did a good job of that. I kind of wish that there would have been a little bit more build up to it because it kind of seems like it's just a switch.
Yeah.
But maybe that's because it's so jarring, it has more of a effect. Well, maybe they were hoping it had more of an effect on people because it's just so sudden.
I kind of wonder if that's part of the reason for the lower scores is because it just seems like he just kind of, I don't know, we're almost like checking in on him on 3 different days for the 3 acts.
Yeah.
And when we see him in the last day for the 3rd act, it's when he's fully embraced the life of a family man. Yeah. So I don't know. I guess it makes sense.
Yeah.
He finds Paula, the naughty hottie from the beginning of the movie, waiting at his door in a negligee. He gives her the Heisman and speeds to his home in the suburbs, only to find that Robert Downey Jr.'s dad lives there now.
That was jarring. When he opened the door, it's like, oh, fuck.
Is that who that was?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Yeah, that's his dad.
Robert Downey Sr. says no one named Kate lives there, and when RDS asks him if he's okay, he says no and heads back to the city depressed. His secretary calls him and asks where the hell he is, since he called an emergency board meeting for noon the day before, and he says he'll be there in 20 minutes. Jack shows up looking, well, like a tire salesman from New Jersey, which is a new look to all the people he works with. So, wait, did he have those clothes in his closet, or why is he wearing those?
I mean, I think he
stopped at a Goodwill and buy some secondhand clothes to fit back in with his old life.
I think he just, he had his pajamas on and then he grabbed some random coat.
Yeah, coat.
But, why would he own that coat?
I know, that's what I was thinking. It looks like a coat that Jack from Jersey would wear.
Yeah.
I like to see him just shopping for it, all depressed, we're going through a Value Village. Oh, this one looks like the one I used to wear.
These are $300 pajama bottoms. I got to stop at the Goodwill.
These are silk.
Alan explains that the merger is on the verge of falling apart, and Jack tells Alan somewhere inside of him is a much more assertive person. Seems rude. Just out of nowhere.
Just out of nowhere.
Jack says he'll fly to Aspen and smooth things over with the guy who has been having doubts on the merger and convince him everything will work out perfectly. Then he's going to spend hours skiing. He's going to spend 4 hours skiing alone, completely and utterly alone. Since it's his life, there's nothing he can do to change that. It's also whoa. Is our boss going to go shoot himself? Is this merger really going to fall through? And
maybe we'll get next Christmas off.
Yeah.
Sir.
Going to go pull a Sonny Bono up there on the slopes?
That's what I thought he was going to say. Then I'm going to smash into a tree. Sir, we're getting Boston Market for lunch.
Already back share, man.
Oh my god! Fucking turn back time.
Boston Market for lunch. That's it. I'm out of here.
He just fucking jumps out the window. It's like that meme of the dude standing up in the boardroom and just walking out the window.
In a limo, he calls information and looks up Kate, who now lives in the city. Apparently, there aren't 3,000 people named Kate Reynolds living in Manhattan in this reality, because he gets her address in seconds flat and heads straight there. Why do you have to call? He could
dude.
Could he have got the number from his secretary because she had it?
No, he threw it away.
He threw it in the garbage, man.
All right.
There's no way she wrote that down somewhere else at all.
Nah, that's only plus. When you have the janitor working for you, you know that place is going to get cleaned.
Yeah.
They all connect, man.
He finds a moving company taking everything out of a beautiful brick home and an assistant guiding them to move all sorts of expensive things like paintings, sculptures, etc., who tells Kate that there's some guy here to see her. Kate sees Jack and tells him she's moving to Paris, but wanted to give him a box of his old stuff she's been holding on to for 13 years. And she's like, what did she say? Paris, France? Or in France? Or
yeah, he's like,
Paris,
France?
France? Not Texas?
No, Paris, Texas.
I surprised she didn't look at him like, oh my God, there's a homeless guy here.
What the hell happened to you? Jesus,
you're homeless now?
What, do you work for free or something?
I mean, if they do, which we're kind of left wondering at the end, if they do get together, but if they do get together, this is a powerhouse couple, man.
Oh, yeah.
Frickin' stockbroker on Wall Street. then she's like this high paid attorney.
Yeah.
He's going to use her to sue that guy for trying to tank the merger. And they're going to make triple.
Thought you were going to say sue the doorman and the old lady because they're smacked out of their head.
That's a better joke.
Track down cash and sue
Edit that in.
Ruining his life.
80 yard over me doing this.
Jack is devastated to hear that she's moving away and asks this poor woman he hasn't seen in 13 years and who he left at the airport, remember you, if she's married 20 seconds after reconnecting with her. He then tries to grab a cup of coffee with her, but she's too busy packing up to move to the other side of the planet and hands him a box of his old crap.
It reminds me of like when somebody texts or DMs a girl like out of the blue, like,
you up?
Hey, pretty, how are you doing? You married? You want to grab a cup of coffee? I don't even know who you are.
Mm-hmm.
You got a cat? What do you feed it?
What's your favorite color?
What's the fucking city in Dog Eat Dog he asked her she's ever been to?
Nice.
Nice.
You're a niece.
This guy, this bracelet. She's dumbfounded when he asks, "Do you ever think about us, Kate, about what might have happened?" And again, he left her. So I'm sure she has thought about it quite a few times.
Mm-hmm.
But she writes him off by saying if he's ever in Paris, look her up. Like, understandably, give him the cold shoulder. Jack leaves and instructs his driver to take him home rather than to the airport for his flight to Aspen. At home, he goes through the box Kate gave him and finds a yo-yo, some cologne, and the same Kurt Vonnegut book he found on his return flight ticket inside of during his glimpse. This time, he finds some photo booth pics of he and Kate when they were young. He gets teary-eyed for a moment before checking his watch and then screaming down the road in his Ferrari toward the airport, where he dumps the car outside in front of a cop and runs into the airport toward the gate at full speed, Tom Cruise style.
He does.
If this film had been made 1 year later, this would have had a whole different ending.
He would have been blasted.
Yeah. He sees Kate and screams, "You can't go! Don't get on that plane!" across a crowded terminal. Again, this was the next year. Someone was screaming that in an airport. Tackled by U.S. Marshals.
Was so nice before 9/11.
Yeah.
She's shocked to see him and is understandably freaked out by her long-lost college boyfriend screaming at her after only seeing him for about 3 minutes 13 years after they broke up. He tells her to stay and have a cup of coffee with him rather than board the flight, in a reversal of the opening scene of the movie. She asks him if he needs closure and lets him know that she was heartbroken, but she got over it and moved on, so he should as well. She tells him she can't deal with his weirdness now and needs to get on her flight, while he just stands there with a blank look on his face while everyone else is trying to board the plane. Like, he's holding up the boarding process on the plane.
Pushing by him the whole time. I love that when they're just kind of like, it's so realistic because they're not even looking at him.
Yeah.
They're just kind of like,
he's on the goddamn plane.
I like how she cuts back to the front of the line too, and that lady's just like, yeah, okay, fuck me then, I guess. Guess I'll just fuck off for a minute.
She was boarding first class. They can do whatever they want.
That's true, yeah. Do whatever they want.
As she walks away, he begins to give up, but then he says the craziest thing he could possibly say to this basically stranger trying to board a flight to an amazing place where she has an amazing opportunity to live in Paris and begin a really exciting new chapter in her life. He says,
We have a house in Jersey!
at the top of his lungs.
That's the moment I would have been like, yeah, I get on this.
All right, bye.
Fucking Jersey?
He goes on to say, we have 2 kids, Annie and Josh. And then describes their non-existent kids while half sobbing like a fucking lunatic, and then tells her about the house they live in, her job, and how in love they are while she just stares at him. While all this is going on, everyone else pushes past them to get on their flight while trying to ignore this absolute insanity. Like, they know there's an ending of a movie happening, and they're just like, whatever. Finally, he says, and I guess that's one thing that you don't have anymore is you can't do this. People can't go to the terminal and Dude, so you're saved from this kind of crap.
Yeah.
Finally, he says, maybe it was all just a dream, and maybe I imagined it all, but I swear nothing's ever felt more real. If you get on that plane right now, it'll disappear forever. Now, remember, he left her.
Also, wait, is he talking about the plane disappearing? Because 1 year later...
Yeah, if you get on that plane, it'll disappear forever.
He's being Gizmo.
Anyway, she leaves, and as Jack watches her plane take off, a spooky old lady looks through the glass next to him and says, I put a curse on that plane.
Yes, I'm so glad the joke is in there.
I put a curse on it.
Things you can't say anymore.
She would be Gitmo too.
Yeah. Actually, he says, I know we could both go on with our lives and we'd both be fine, but I've seen what we could be like together and I choose us. He begs her not to go to Paris tonight, and I guess all that craziness about their kids and how he sings to her in their dirty house in New Jersey didn't scare her off, because next we see them enjoying a cup of coffee in the airport as the snow falls behind them and the credits roll. The end.
Yeah. So we're kind of left wondering whether or not they'll actually get back together.
Or maybe the snow falling is to signal that he's going to wake up in that other life again. You know? And it'll be a happy ending.
To it again.
He's like, come on.
Every time it snows now, he swaps back and forth and you can never tell what reality he's in, and he actually goes insane.
He's like America
Back to
Chavez.
the stockbroker shit. Oh, damn it, I'm a tire salesman again.
Fuck you, Cash!
You son
Cash
of a
just
bitch.
shows up to fuck with him.
For the rest of his life.
Oh, you gonna see your kids again? Maybe, maybe not.
Now you're driving an ambulance. Now you're a janitor in a fun house.
Fuck.
By the way, you're mute. Son of a bitch. It's just like a fucking quantum leap, but with this.
Every Nick Cage role.
Every Nick Cage movie is just Cash fucking
Now
up.
you're Nick Cage playing Nick Cage.
Oh, your kid's been kidnapped on an island in the San Juans. Better go get her from this creepy cult.
How to get bird?
Okay.
It should be like, they should make that should be like Everything Everywhere All at Once, but combined with massive, unbearable weight of massive talent, but it's just Nick Cage leaping through every role to get back to his life.
We'd have to have one character who just shows up in every movie to guide him. Maybe it's the little kid. I should have warned you. They like to burn people alive.
Yeah, every time he dies, he wakes up in a different movie.
Yeah.